So 2022 has seen some incredible running shoe updates for the racing shoe lineup across the board with a multitude of brands. Some updates have been absolutely fantastic and some updates, well, they were probably best left at the drawing board. Today I'm gathering up the racing shoes that I've tried this year and giving you guys my favourite racing shoe of 2022. What is up guys, Andy Forrestine Runner here. Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be going through the 4 racing shoes that I've tried this year and giving you guys my favourites. So with a few races left in 2022, I think to this date I've raced around 11 or 12 times in a variety of different shoes. And what I want to do today is go through with you guys my thoughts, the pros and cons on each of these racing shoes that I've managed to pick up and test this year. And then at the end give you my overall verdict as to which one I feel has come out on top. So if you're excited for today's video guys, make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and let's kickstart with the first shoe. Let's jump straight in with the Nike Streakfly. What a shoe this has been. This is my second pair of shoes. The first pair I purchased with my own money. It was a prototype version, and then this pair has been kindly sent to me for Nike by the purpose of review. They didn't realise I'd already managed to get myself a pair of the prototype colourway, so I got these when they mainly dropped. I got the prototype colourway earlier, and I have to say these shoes are absolutely incredible. Now let's just lay this out there, shall we? Nike haven't produced the best shoes this year and haven't really been producing a lot of good shoes for a while now. They really focus on their top end shoes, their Alphaflys, their Vaporflys, Streakflys. Everything else just kind of falls by the wayside. Other brands are killing it in all the other areas. But I have to say, this has been an absolute shining star when it comes to Nike running shoes. I found this shoe absolutely phenomenal in training. So that leads me to say, I haven't raced in this shoe this year, and although it's been classed as a racing shoe, it's not something I would consider racing in because the Vaporfly and the Alphafly do it better. Where I found this thing excels is in the speed workouts, in the interval workouts, in the VO2 max work that I'm doing at the moment and have been doing in the past. Yeah, they got a bit of a break during marathon training over summer, but they're back in the rotation now, and this pair is nearly 100 miles already. So in terms of racing, sadly it's not going to take the podium, but in terms of shoe of the year, it's definitely up there for a top 3. And then we move our attention to the Alphafly version 2. This is a visual representation of the Alphafly version 2 because this is obviously version 1. My version 2 that I purchased with my own money got sent back to Nike after a few runs because I just didn't quite get on with it. So we're going to have to pretend that this is the prototype colorway Alphafly 2, which I've done reviews on. They're on the channel. I've done a great long run in them. And I have to say, in terms of the shoe itself, it was a good shoe. There was nothing particularly wrong with it. But when you're spending £270 of your hard-earned money on a racing shoe, it's got to be good. And I found it was a little bit of a step back from version 1. So what that made me do is just continue to use version 1 and have a hunt around for more version 1s in my size to see if I could stock up on a pair. I know they're out there, I can get them. I haven't yet purchased a second pair, but I do intend on doing it at some point. Mainly because I feel like what they did is they took away the edge that the Alphafly version 1 had, and they just completely nullified it moving into version 2. It very much became a one-trick pony, whereas I feel this shoe I could go out and have done a 10k PB in it, a half marathon PB and a marathon PB in this shoe. I have to say the version 2 did not feel like that whatsoever. It was very much a cruiser. It was a heck of a lot heavier in my UK size 13, and it just didn't quite feel like the racing shoe I wanted it to be. And then we move on to a shoe that just got the updates all right and bought me my first ever half marathon podium, coming 3rd place at the Severn Bridge Half Marathon and a course PB for me back in August. The Saucony Endorphin Pro 3, what an update this is. Now this shoe was sent to me by Saucony for the purpose of review. It has now got well over 100 miles in it. I have used this shoe a lot and absolutely rate these updates 10 out of 10. What they've done from the Pro 1 and 2 is just taken this to another level, and I feel has made Saucony competitive. This for me, I stated it in a review, was the closest shoe I found to the Vaporfly version 1, because as a lot of you guys know, my feelings on the version 2 of the Vaporfly and the Alphafly 2 is that the foam, midsole foam, has gone a lot more plasticky. They've changed it, they've done something there, and it's not quite the same as version 1. Well, this thing gets as close as it can, and actually I had no obligation to run that 7 bridge in this shoe. I just thought to myself at the time, do you know what? It's done so well for me and I enjoy it so much, it deserves an outing. And as I remember, I led the race until 11 miles until I blew up at the end. It was great fun, and this shoe was just phenomenal at the time. The updates from this shoe, the pros and cons in terms of, I don't have a con for this shoe if I'm honest with you. They took what they did with the Pro 1, which is I got a bit of heel slippage and stuff, and made this area a little bit more secure for me. I've never had any issues there. The upper's fantastic, the lockdown's fantastic. The foam, we've got more stack, softer foam. More responsive, it feels great, and the traction underfoot. I don't think it's going to be fantastic in wet weather, but not many super shoes are. I have to say, this has been one quality update. And then we move on to the shoe that is currently exciting me the most right now, the Adidas Adizero Adios Pro 3. What a mouthful. Why can't it just be the Adios Pro 3? Whatever, it is a phenomenal shoe. I haven't yet raced in this shoe. I purchased it with my own money, and I want to extend a massive thank you to Adidas for listening to the bigger foot people. I could not test Adidas for a very long time, but this year they've extended their range from stopping at a size UK 12 to going up to a UK size 14. Adidas, thank you. Asics, take note, listen, so that I can test your shoes next year, please. This shoe is unlike any super shoe I've tried, and right now in training I am absolutely loving this. The midsole foam, whatever's going on with this midsole foam, it is incredible. I get the bounce and responsiveness that I get from the Vaporfly, but with less compression. It seems to like take less sink-in power to propel you just the same amount. It's incredible. I feel so efficient in this shoe. And actually I have a race coming up this weekend where this is going to get its debut outing, and I guarantee you I'm going to be using this so much more for racing in the future. I did have some sizing issues. I need to warn a lot of people if you're considering getting this shoe, because I was told that the other day this shoe was on a 35% discount. You could use a discount code. They retracted that pretty quickly, but then last week the white version was also on discount. You could use it. I don't know if it still is, but a 35% discount off this brings it down to around about £155. So it was absolutely incredible. Now, sizing, I did struggle a bit. Adidas is funny on the sizing. I went 13.5, I'm usually a 13, and I still find it a bit tight. I have found it stretched. I've done some longer runs in it. I did a 10-mile run in it at the weekend, and the issues in it were a heck of a lot less. I was a little bit tight in the top end of the shoe, and a little bit of rubbing in and around here. This has completely disappeared. The tightness is going. I feel like it's stretching slightly, so I feel like if I can just get that sorted, and maybe on the next iteration, maybe get a 14 and just try and see if I go another half size up again if it's not too baggy everywhere else. Either way, despite this being, I think, the heaviest of the super shoes that I've tested at the moment, by the Alphafly, this is one to watch. And let's cut straight to these two, because let's be honest with you, after going through those pros and cons and how I've tested these shoes out this year, these two are the standouts of the crowd. Let's be honest, the Alphafly version 2 was not a good upgrade. It's a good shoe, but it's not something I'm prepared to spend £270 of my money to go and sit there in a cupboard and wait for the odd long run test, the odd long run here and there, wait for a marathon training series, then when that's done, put that away and get it out in another 6 months' time. And the next marathon rolls around, you know, it's not good. It's not been a positive upgrade for me. And in terms of the Streakfly, if this was a training shoe video, the Streakfly would win. I'm being honest, I'm saying it, the Streakfly is a fantastic training shoe. The most exciting training shoe for me, I think, this year. But I feel like the Vaporfly and the Alphafly version 1s offer better, and I know we're talking about 2022 releases, but I just feel in the Nike lineup, they've released a racing shoe where they have better options available, so I just can't put it up there for racing shoe of the year. Which leaves me with the Pro 3 from Saucony and the Pro 3 from Adidas. And I'm going to be a really boring old fart, and I'm going to say these two are going to share the podium, and I'm going to explain exactly why now. If I'd have had this shoe 2 or 3 months ago and I'd have had the opportunity to have raced in this shoe, my gut tells me this would win. the excitement I'm getting from training in this shoe right now is on another level. Whether that's because Adidas have finally done my size, I don't know. Whether that's because the foam is just on another level, I don't know. I think it's that. The foam feels incredible. I've got a race this weekend. It's going to get its outing there. I have another road race at the end of the year. It's probably going to get the nod for that one as well, depending on what the conditions are. I think if I record this video in about 2 or 3 months' time, you might see this thing top of the podium. But I haven't had that opportunity yet, and I have to give a humongous credit to Saucony, because what they've done in terms of updates with this shoe is they've taken the Pro 1 and 2, they've revamped it completely, and they've brought themselves right up there with a competitive racing shoe. This, as I said, is the closest I've found to the Vaporfly version 1. I've had a chance to test it, I've had a chance to race in it, I've had well over 100 miles in it, and the foam still feels as good as it did at the start. So I feel like both of these are worthy winners in my opinion, but I would love to hear what your opinions are down in the comments below. Now, the reason I ask for your comments down below on this topic is not only because of the fact that I'd love to hear what you think your running shoe, racing shoe of the year is, but also I just can't test all of the shoes that you guys can. A lot of these brands do not do a UK size 13 and 14. Asics, Puma, New Balance, these are all shoe companies. I know there are others, but these are all shoe companies that are producing some incredible racing shoes that don't go up to a 13 and a 14. Now, with the RC Elite 2 from New Balance, they launched in a 12. They eventually, about 3 or 4 months later, released a 13, I think, but it was kind of like that ship has sailed, and there were plenty of other shoes for me to test at that point, and I was quite disappointed that they didn't just come out with it. I'm not sure what was going on there. The SC Elite 3 is exactly the same. That came out in a 12, whether it's in a 13 now, I don't know, I haven't looked. I waited till launch day, I checked it was a 12, and just got despondent once again. Asics, I just feel they should know better. They produce some of the best training shoes. I test them, I review them, I love them. I'd love to see them open their doors to the bigger foot runners like me. And of course Puma, whether they're doing 13s and 14s now, I've got no idea, but once again on the Elite 2s and then the Fast R, on both those launches they only went up to a 12. So it's just a case of I can't test them all, and I'd love to hear from you guys down below if you've tested any of those and how you feel they stack up against the ones I've listed today. And don't forget, the Running Shoe Awards are coming up very, very soon. In the next month or so, check out last year's video up there just to familiarise yourself with the format of that. And of course, if you're looking for more shoe reviews, check out this video down here. And I hope to see you over on that one. That's it from me today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content. And as always, I'll see you on the next one. Until then.